Boy, do we have a segment for you today. Benny Bets has 30 bets you can make, one per player at the Tour Championship. And Ben, I love this idea because we are ranging all over the gamut with this one.
30 for 30, mate. Not stealing any intellectual property there, am I? I don't think so. But look, I think it's fun, right? We've got an interesting tournament. So we've got 30 players. We know starting strokes make the outright market a little bit tough to go all the way down. So why not dig deeper? Why not find something for everyone? Whether you're watching 1 day, 1 hour, 4 rounds, let's find something for everyone.
That's the best part of this segment. You can watch one shot. You could watch 72 holes on 4 days. You want to get started?
Let's crack into it.
Okay, Scotty Scheffler off the top. Round one score over 67.5. Why?
Scotty Scheffler, look, he's the starting champion. He's probably in the favourite for this tournament, but I think he's going to struggle. Look, he's struggled from that -10 before, and I just don't think necessarily he's going to start too strong. He's clearly trying to protect the lead. That's not worked for him in the past, and I just haven't seen him shoot that well in the past. It's a risky bet with 3 par 5s now, but still, 3 under or worse, I can absolutely see him doing it. 4 of his last 12 rounds at East Lake have been 4 under or better. That's not good. Let's get rid of Scheffler on the under. Let's go the over.
So that means you think he struggles and Xander wins the whole tournament.
Xander Schauffele, this is your best bet. Tournament winner, plus 225 in the starting strokes market, and even 450 overall if you just want to go the gross market. But I've been gung-ho on Schauffele all year, winning the FedEx Cup. I'm not going to change now. He's an East Lake specialist. Even with the restoration, I think he can, carve up there.
If you don't like that number, how about Hideki Matsuyama's number to win plus 1,100?
This is the fact that's the number, right? I know Matty Del Vecchio, our mate's gone on this to try to catch me in expert picks.
Yeah.
Good luck, Matty. But I tell you one thing, beware the injured golfer, right? He had to WD in Denver. That's why you're getting plus 1,100 here. He starts at 7 under. It's only 3 behind Scheffler, 1 behind Schauffele. If he plays well, if his health is fine, the number is the value here. Absolutely, if you want to take a crack. Look, there's some risk involved, but there's definitely upside at that number.
For Keegan Bradley, you have him struggling in round one. Number of birdies or better in round one. Under 4.5 is about even money.
I went back and looked at the last couple of times that Keegan has played well and what he did in the first round after, and basically he struggled. And I think that's because we see him. The emotion comes out of Keegan Bradley. He uses plenty of that energy, and there has to be a bit of a letdown, right? You've got rid of the energy dump, and you're feeling like, oh, I've got to move on from here. I'm not saying he's going to play terrible or weak. I just think there's a good chance of an emotional letdown and a slow start at East Lake for Keegan Bradley.
Okay, here's where we get complicated. Ludwig Oberg versus Rory McIlroy. Nearest to the pin in the first round on holes 2, 9, 11, and or 15. All plus money, about 100 to plus 120. You like Ludwig on those par 3s.
I was trying to find an edge for Ludwig against Rory, right? We know that Rory's won 3 times at East Lake before. So what I found is Oberg is 19th in par 3 scoring against McIlroy's 59th. It's not a huge difference, but if you take into the proximity from the distance those are on the scorecard, which is roughly between the 200 and 225 on 3 of them, and then a bigger 250 plus yard par 3 as well. Well, Oberg is 14th in proximity, was Rory's 107th, and 91st versus 40th in all those distances. So if you're looking for closest to the pin, that's where he has a statistical edge. I thought, why not? Have a crack. Plus money 4 times. You've got 4 cracks at it.
Yeah, and folks, it's just the first round, just the par 3s, because he's got Rory, winner with strokes without Scheffler and Schauffele. Plus 650?
When you take out the top 2
Crazy.
seeds, yeah, Rory has come from behind twice to win the FedEx Cup, right? He's actually won the whole thing from 5 under and 4 under. He's starting at 4 under this week, but we get to take out the top 2 seeds, and you get 650 there. I see definite value there. You know he's going to go after it. You know he's going to have a crack at it. He's not going to sit back and give up this week. It's not going to be like Memphis where he had a slow start and gave up. This guy's going to go hammer and tong. He overtook Scheffler in the final round when he was 6 behind a couple of years ago. I guarantee Rory plays to the end. I saw good odds there when you take those 2 other guys out.
Colin Morikawa, you've got this bet for a reason. First round leader with strokes at 100 to 1. Why?
Because last year he did it at 500 to 1 from -1. He did it from -1 last year. 61, I think he opened with last year. Incredible stuff. He went from -1 all the way to the top, and then after actually played well in round 2, and we thought, wow, we're going to get a winner from this far back. Now, he faded over the last 2 rounds, but who cares? This is about the first round. He's shown that he can do it, and he's going to go after it. That's the cool thing about the guys who start behind. You know that they have to start fast. Colin Morikawa will start fast, and 100 to 1, let's take a stab at it.
For Wyndham Clark, you only have to watch the beginning of his round, the second hole. Birdie or better, plus 360. What's that about?
Well, it's 205 yards, okay?
Yep.
And I'm looking for something random. Totally random, as you're right. 360, but let's see if he can birdie the second hole. 205 yards for him is actually where he plays well. He ranks 6th on tour in par 3 scoring, 3rd on tour par 3 birdie or better percentage, and 1st on tour for putts outside 25 feet. So even if he doesn't hit it close, you're still in the bet, right? So I feel like I was looking for somewhere where Wyndham could pop. Why not? Let's get off to a hot start. Plus 360 just to make a birdie on the easiest of the par 3s. Let's have a crack.
From 1 hole to 72 holes for Sam Burns. Starts -4, top 5 including strokes. Pretty good number, plus 275.
And he's only starting 1 shot out of 5th place,
Yeah.
right? So he's already close. He just has to overtake 1 player and keep the others behind him at bay. Look, Bermuda Burns, why not? 11th in strokes gained putting this season. 11th in strokes gained total as well. He's coming off a great final round and a runner-up finish. Was also, 5th in Memphis. And wants to just really solidify, probably already has done this, but solidify his way onto the President's Cup team where he'll partner with Scheffler. He's in good form. Let's see him just continue that.
For Patrick Cantlay, you got to watch 1 round. It's the first round. A top 5 finish with strokes. I'm surprised this is so high at plus 330.
Well, again, the guys at 4 under, they have to start fast. He's a former FedEx Cup winner. He's got to hit the ground running. He's challenged. If he wants to challenge for his second title, he has to do that, right? He's usually, this is interesting, usually his best rounds at Eastlake have been on Fridays, but I'm going to give him a chance to have a fast start. He's 11th on tour, I think, in first round scoring average. That's something that tells me that he can move up the board quickly in that first day. Again, he's starting 1 shot from 5th. So he just has to get past maybe Ludwig or someone else to make that move.
Benny Betts does math too. How about that? Okay, Sung J M, top rest of the world with bonus strokes. Great number, plus 450. You're banking on Hideki's injury.
Yes, so this is like before I said if we've got the 1100 for Hideki to win it all, if he does have a pull back, if it does bother him, all of a sudden, then Sung J M as the next best rest of the world player on the leaderboard at plus 450 becomes a great ad, right? He's only got to beat Ben Arn, Taylor Pendrith, I think Christian Bezuidenhout, and then you've got Matsuyama, okay? Look, if Hideki stays fit, it's hard, but still doable. He can still catch him. It's only 4 behind. But if you really do think that Hideki could be not 100%, then it becomes an even better bet.
Benny's got my top 5 struggling this week because of Sahith Theegala's potential wrist injury. First round, birdies or better, under 4.5 even money.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the injury, right? It's just it's a crack at is his wrist 100% or not. He came off a 79-76 weekend at the BMW. In better circumstances, I honestly believe, like you do, that he's a chance to fly up this leaderboard. But if we are to believe that his wrist is not that great, and that then why not take the under at plus money? Why not take the under 5 birdies? 4 or less birdies to get plus money. That's where I'm going there.
That means you've got Shane Lowry beating Theegala. Tournament matchup, 72 holes, no strokes.
Again, the minor injury cloud for Theegala. Lowry being playing very well tee to green. I think he's 10th on strokes gained approach this year, 19th tee to green. Doesn't matter what course he turns up to, whether it's new to him or not, he's going to be able to methodically put himself around. We know his putter might be a little dodgy at times, but with Theegala's injury, I'm prepared to say that he can win that matchup.
Adam Scott starts -3, easy top 10, right? Starting strokes.
Yes, I tell you. Well, again, I love him as my long shot, as you know. Look, he's a veteran. He played really well last week. In fact, he's been playing really well for a month or more since the Genesis Scottish Open. Like he's had a couple of top 5s. T18 was his worst result.
Almost better than anybody else out there.
Correct. He's in totally good form. He's won at Eastlake before in 2006, right before. He reminds me all the time, right before they started awarding $10 million for the guy who won at Eastlake. He was the winner there the year before that in 06. I think that he can make a small jump up that leaderboard to at plus money to finish in the top 10.
Ben's got a slow-ish start for Tony Finau in the first round, over 68.5. It is minus money, though.
In 28 total rounds there, just 9 of them were 3 under or better for Tony, and just one of those came in the opening round. He has a habit of starting slow at Eastlake. It's just something that he keeps on doing. So I'm going to stay. Let's go with that habit. I mean, there's a reason it is the minus money because I think they think it's a lock. I think Tony has played really well this year without actually contending a lot of the time. And part of it is because he's had some slow starts.
You're using Tony in your Ben on bet. Very complicated. Listen, first round, total score on the par fours combined. Ben on beating Tony, and he's the underdog.
Yeah, just the par fours, right? So we're getting rid of the
par fours.
We're getting rid of the par fives and the par threes, whereas obviously Tony might have a bit of an advantage. And you're looking for a bet for Ben on. It's tricky to do. I'm not going to lie. I'm trying to find something for everyone here. But he's just fractionally behind Finau in par 4 scoring this season. As I said, Finau's shot 70, 72, 72 in his last 3 Eastlake opening rounds, like we mentioned. Arn's on debut, but it's a plus money in a 2-horse race. It's a dart throw, but I think it's a decent one.
Group D, they're all -2. You got Victor Hovland plus 200.
The defending champion, right? Probably getting to the top of this is going to the top of the leaderboard is going to be hard. But just the other -2 guys, so that's Ben Arm we just mentioned, Russell Henley, who's actually the favourite in this group, Russell Henley, Batir and Robert McIntyre, right? I think that Hovland can potentially get in front of those 4 guys. Again, he knows the course. He clearly had success there last year. He's had a decent amount of success through the playoffs. Not the best last week, but a decent week in Memphis. It's a good bet for Hovland fans.
And you've got Hovland struggling on the par threes in the first round because Russell Henley, complicated again, total score on the par threes in round 1 against Victor, -120. What's wrong with Victor's par threes?
Well, we've got Henley at 19th on tour in par 3 scoring. It's more about what Henley does, right? Whereas Hovland, 155th in par 3 scoring. So that is a statistical mismatch, right? And look, Henley's a Georgia boy. He's going to have support. I feel like he'll play well under that sort of pressure. And look, I will give this disclaimer. As I mentioned earlier, the par 3s are sort of between 200, 225. And if Hovland has a strength in proximity, it's in that bracket. So it is a disclaimer there. But it's just, I can't look past that 19th versus 155th in par 3 scoring.
Yeah.
Why not give Hovland that? That's where Henley has a statistical edge.
Again, math matters. My top 10 last week was Akshay Bhatia. Started great. You've got him starting great this week. End of round 1 with strokes plus 360 in the top 10.
Right, he's got to make up 2 shots, right, on the leaderboard. The young gun's plenty of firepower. We know he can do it. I mean, he's got to go from T16 into the top 10. He's chasing a President's Cup pick. He's got plenty to play for. I don't know about you, but I still remember him opening 63 at the Valero Texas Open, which he went on to win. And the 64s at Travelers and Rocket Mortgage back-to-back. They're in my mind. I know he's going to go after it. Look, he might shoot 75 because he's going after it. But at the same point, at least you want a guy here at good value that you know has the ability to get after it. So let's see Bhatia have a crack.
He'll save the 75 for round 2. You're fine. How about the first round for Robert McIntyre? Under 4.5 birdies.
Again, another guy who withdrew last week, right? Lower back injury. So I'm just playing to the injury. When you've got something that's bothering you, and let's face it, he's already had the year of all years. He's won twice. He won in Scotland. He's probably still partying from that win in Scotland. I don't think if there's any sort of injury, he's not going to put his future at risk for that. I'm sure he'll step up and try to play, but I don't think he's going to be going 100% at the ball. He's not going to be really trying to hammer it. He'll be playing protective. He's going to try to win as much bonus money as possible, but he's a potential for another WD. So under for me.
You've got Billy Horschel over Tommy Fleetwood on the par 5s. Round 1, total score par 5s. Why Billy?
This one threw me for a loop because I saw that Fleetwood was the -140 favourite. But again, if you have a look at just the pure numbers this season, Horschel ranks 24th on tour for par 5 scoring. Fleetwood's 127th.
That's surprising.
Right? It's big. It's just Fleetwood just doesn't attack the par 5s as much or hasn't had as much love on those. Horschel's also a former Eastlake champion. And when he was here last time, by the way, and we're talking the par 5s, 18 is still there. He had 3 birdies and an eagle in the 4 rounds. So, like, Horsfield knows how to get it done on the par 5s at Eastlake. Fleetwood apparently hasn't been getting it done this season. I went with the math. You're getting the underdog there, 110.
However, you have Tommy not making a bogey on a par 5 because you got him bogey-free round 1. I like 5-1.
Again, I'm not saying he's going to bogey the par 5s. He's just not going to birdie them as much as Billy Horschel will. Again, 5-1. He's been bogey-free in 3 of his last 5 opening rounds. And the one of those where he didn't was like the Open Championship in really crap and hard weather. So it's almost like 3 out of 4, right? If you take that out, no one was bogey-free in that sort of weather. 10th on tour for bogey avoidance. Last season at Eastlake, he was bogey-free in rounds 3 and 4. So he's on a roll. He hasn't had a bogey there in 2 rounds. Why not keep it going? 5-1.
This one is the second shortest of all the bets Benny's got. Sepp Straka on the first hole in round 1. Why is he making a bogey?
Well, look, it was a beast last year, that hole, at 469 yards. They've extended it to 510 yards par 4 now. They've got new bunkers that are actually in play on the left. The green dog legs, and now it's up in the air. And look, he made a couple of bogeys there last year already. So it's gone from driver wedge to, I think, Hovland was saying he had to drive a 5-iron in. I'm just saying that that's a tough hole. Straka struggled on it last year. It's now tougher. Why not take the plus money to see if he has a slow start?
And if you've got Straka starting slow, it means Matthew Pavon already has the edge on Straka in their round 1 matchup. He's the underdog.
Yeah, underdog. Look. Full disclosure here. Finding something for Pavon, who's been struggling of late, was tough. But if you're going to go for something, right, why not get a plus money where he only has to beat one guy? As I said, Straka may start slow. Pavon has got nothing to lose. He's not the player he was at the start of the season. But hey, I can't take him against a bunch of guys, but I can take him plus money against one guy. That's your best bet, I think, when it comes to Matthew Pavon.
Here's a fun stretch for us. Taylor Pendrith, round 1 matchup starts easy, beating Tom Hoge.
Well, he's trying to make the President's Cup team, which is a huge thing. So he's got a lot to play for other than what everyone has to play for there at Eastlake. He wants to prove that he belongs on that team to play at home. Hoagie is an approach game machine, but Pendrith is being a putting machine. So it's essentially putter versus irons. I'm going to go with the Canadian. Just because I'm an international team fan, I think he can get it done.
Just because Tom Hoge is going to play poorly in the matchup, don't feel bad for him, because this is where you are going to make up all of your money if you lose every single bet of the other 30. Tom Hoge, why is he the one to make a hole-in-one?
150 to 1. You're going to have a crack, right? Well, someone's going to make a hole-in-one. I'm going with Hoge because second on tour in strokes gained approach, right? He has it dialed in when it comes to his irons. We know that's where he's absolutely insanely accurate. So why not go with the guy? If you're going to take throw a million darts in the air and hope one lands somewhere. But if you're going to go with someone 8th in proximity, second strokes gained approach, and his distances around the par 3s as well is exactly where he plays well. So that's my guy. Someone's got to do it. I'm going to say it's him.
And the next guy on the list is the most underrated and not talked about player in the entire 30. Chris Kirk with strokes, top 20, plus money.
He's one of only 4 players in the entire field that's plus money for a top 20. And this is a guy who's a Georgia boy, right? He's from Atlanta. He went to the University of Georgia. He won this season. We forget about that. And he's coming off a T9 last week, right? So why would you think that he couldn't make up that ground? Oh, and just by the way, he hasn't been there for a while, but when he was there in 2014, he finished 4th. So, of course he can make up a couple of shots to finish in the top 20. Plus money, I almost feel like that's the smash play of the week.
Why don't you make it 2 for 2 on top 20s with Christian Bezuidenhout, including ties? He's plus money as well.
I'm looking for a plus money bet again for everyone if I can. Well, 20th in strokes gained total this season, 21st strokes gained putting, 31st around the greens. He's got the short game. If he can get his ball off the tee in a reasonable fashion, well then look, he's got to go from T26 to T20. Can absolutely get it done. Kirk, I think, is more of a smash play, but there's nothing to say that Bezuidenhout can't do it as well. Also, trying to get on that President's Cup team.
Friday will be a big day for Aaron Rai. Why is he going to have the lowest round 2 score of anybody at 35 to 1? I like that too.
Well, he's 17th in round 2 scoring, so I thought that makes it a decent dart throw. There, two of the guys he's behind are Scheffler and Schauffele, but they don't necessarily need to go low on Friday, whereas Aaron Rice starting at even has to go low in the first round and has to go low in the second round. He has to go low in every round. So when I saw that he likes to sort of build into a tournament, and I saw that you get 35 to 1 already on round 2 scoring before you see what they do in the first round, that's a nice foot down Friday man for me. Aaron Rice, recent winner, nothing to lose. Let's see him go low.
And last but not least, a friendly reminder, you can bet on this tournament with no strokes whatsoever. Justin Thomas, 30 to 1 to be the 72-hole gross champion.
Lightning can strike twice, right? Last week, the last man in was Keegan Bradley. He went on to win the BMW Championship. Last man in this week, well, it's Justin Thomas. And look, he might be putting terribly. We're going to need him to make a few putts if he's going to do this. But the new greens could bring the rest of the field back in that metric. I will say this, he's been there, 7 times and never finished worse than T7. He can do it. He's fired up to do it. He's got nothing to lose but to fire at pins. And you know Thomas is not going to just go through the motions. If he's going to be there, he's going to have a crack. So let's see what he can do. 30 to 1, good finish.
Benny's 30 best bets. Put down $1, put down as much as you want. You're going to have fun regardless, right, Ben?
That's 100% right. It's a great way where you can watch this tournament over the 4 days, have some things riding on it all the way through. And as I said, $1 on all, and we'll see what we come up with at the end.